This is Nadia, a 1991 Volkswagen GTI 1.8-liter 8-valve, and my first car. I picked it up for $2,500 in high school and immediately began modifying it with zero experience. Throughout high school, I painted the car, installed a cam, valve springs, a better oil pump, ARP head studs, and a 2-step module. However, I also didn't have a car to drive for most of high school because I was incapable of doing any job correctly the first time around.
So now that we've got the belt all timed up and installed, it's time to put on the rear.
Snapped head bolts, roasted clutches, incorrectly installed head gaskets, oil leaks, overheating, stripped cam cap studs, jump timing, shit wiring, and the terrible decision to install dual side draft carbs, knowing nothing about tuning, were just a couple of the mistakes I made on the car. But still, I learned a lot of what I know now working on Nadia, and eventually got the car ripping every time. After high school, I went to Montana in my new shitbox project car, the Isuzu Pooper, and left my Golf behind. 6 months and one hell of a journey later, I found myself back home and reunited with my Golf. I was finally able to get the carb tuning really dialed in. And I had the car ripping for about 5 days until I dropped the clutch near my house and the valve cover breather filter on my 8-valve motor ejected, jamming itself into the throttle linkage and pinning it wide open. After a leak down test, I discovered 2 cylinders were losing major air into the crankcase. So I pulled out the 8-valve, and the next week I bought a VR6 24-valve 2.8-liter 6-speed out of a Volkswagen Jetta. While saving up money for engine parts, I decided to do some bodywork in the meantime, so I bought a quarter cut of a Volkswagen Golf from a scrapyard near me and patched the rear right quarter panel.
Kind of retarded.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Where's my car?
Isn't it beautiful?
Lady, couple boats, fresh paint, it'd be good as new. Real!
No. What? No, I don't know how to fucking drive. I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm fucking scared. What are you talking about, you psycho? You know how to drive? Not everybody knows how to do everything. Driving isn't the only thing.
Alright, so it's been about a week since I got everything hooked up. Everything's finalized and good to go. Got the fuel tank swapped, all new lines, all the radiator hoses plumbed. I just need to prime oil and hook up the exhaust manifold because the place that you prime oil is in the way of the exhaust manifold. But I'm having a wiring issue. Everything is working completely. The fuel pump is priming from what I can tell. The drive-by wire is working. The ECU is turning on, but it is not cranking over from the key. So we're in a multimeter to my starter wire, and I was hoping it was broken up close to the starter, but just cut it back and tested it, and it's not working. So it's time to tear apart the whole chassis harness and figure out if that goes to the ECU or to the adapter harness inside the car, and figure out why that is not working. So that'll be fun. And I got the wiring harness all torn down, traced back the starter wire. It is one of the plugs that goes into the swap harness, so I'm gonna pull apart that connector and test it from the other side, and just keep tracing it back. I traced back my wiring issue with the starter all the way, and it looks like it's coming out of the fuse box at F1. So I'm gonna pull out that plug here in a second and try to test it just directly on the terminal, if I can get my hands in there. And yeah, hopefully, I don't know if I want there to be signal or not to be signal, but either way, it's not gonna be a fun fix. Alright, so I got the wiring issue figured out. It turned out to just be my starter relay. It had gone bad over time. It didn't used to be bad, but I just hooked it up. But basically what I just ended up doing is I jumped the relay.
My main goal is to blow up.
From pin to pin, basically just deleted it. So now through the swap harness, when I go to crank it, I get 12 volts. So I just need to extend that back out, hook it up to the starter, prime the oil pump, put on the exhaust manifold, and it should be ready to start. Alright, finished up all the wiring, got the starter working, everything else is working, and just did the intermediate oil pump prime. Alright, since I decided to go with the 24 valve VR6, it comes with a O2M 6-speed transmission. Now, normally what people would do is bolt up a 5-speed from a 12 valve to this same setup so they can run stock Mark III Jetta or Mark III Golf axles to plus size suspension on either side. But the 6-speed is rated for higher horsepower and I want to turbo this in the future. So what I did was I went and got a hub and axle replacement kit from Drive Shaft Shop. It was spendy, but got some bulky axles that are rated for 500 horse and a hub replacement to step it up to a bigger spline size. So I gotta pop off these knuckles and swap them out for these. In addition to the axles, I also got a new set of wheel spacers because my old ones are on the other Golf, and I got some new coilovers. Got everything stripped down. I'll see if I can knock those out with a hammer, and if not, I'll bring them to a shop tomorrow and have them press the new spindles in. So I just smacked out the old hub, and the front race of the bearing came with it. So I leave for Florida, or this car gets shipped out for Florida in about a week and a half. So I gotta try to track down one of these tomorrow. Hopefully a local store has one in, but we'll see. The same thing just happened with this one. It actually took more of the bearing out. It's almost like you're not supposed to hammer these out, maybe.
Are you sure about that?
I got the new spindles and wheel bearings pressed in. Got my coilovers all set up and ready to go. Just gonna throw the whole front end together, throw in the axles, and then I can get to work on the exhaust. So I primed up the engine. Everything's ready to go. I went to put on the exhaust manifold with the downpipe. It fit when mocking it up with the downpipe, but I couldn't fit the top cast manifolds behind the intake. And instead of just jacking up the car like I was going to have to do anyway, snaking them in from the bottom, I decided to take off the manifolds, and I snapped 5 out of 6 bolts. So I gotta figure that out now. Probably just gonna weld nuts to them and try to get them out tomorrow, but yeah, created a new issue for myself. So that's a thing now. Just finished welding up the flange onto the headers. The upper manifolds are already in the car, and I just have to go mock up and tack in place the other side of this flange, and then the exhaust will be going on for good. It took some finagling, but I managed to get the shifter all figured out without cutting up the body at all. All I had to do was put 2 holes through the firewall right there, which I did a while ago. I just need to get some grommets for it. And then the old shift linkage box. My phone is low, so I can't use the flashlight, so hopefully you can kind of see what's going on here. Basically, this is your Mark IV shifter box, and then underneath that we have a piece of metal that basically is going to bolt to, you can't see. Fuck. Imagination. So, didn't end up getting it done in time for Florida. Had major problems bleeding the clutch. I need to bleed the brakes a little bit better too, but I just got all the coolant burped, and I'm just waiting for it to all cool down so that I have a cluster harness arriving today so that my temp gauge will work. I have a mechanical one too, but I don't want to trust that if I don't have to. And then just clean up the interior, clean up the engine bay, take it for a couple test drives, and then shoot some footage for you guys. I'll start it up real quick, just show you that it does in fact run.
moments later.
Hello there. Hello.
Alright, so took the Golf to an autocross event, and on the way back, it was like a 45-minute drive, I started noticing some oil coming up onto the windshield. Investigated a little bit, found out that I had a timing cover leak, so I was like, well, gonna replace the timing cover, but then I thought, well, while I'm in there, you know, I have a cracked oil filter housing, and I've been wanting to delete this stupid water to oil cooler anyway, so I figured I would find a piece to delete this. So I located this block off plate made by 034 Motorsports, and basically it's going to block off the oil filter housing right here, and I can run 2A inlines off of it. So I decided I was going to run a remote filter setup. Then I was like, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well get a thermostatic one so that I can run lines off of it to an oil cooler. I was like, well, if I'm making bracketry for all this, I might as well make a tubular front end like I've been wanting to do for a while. So, long story short, the car has been down for 3.5 weeks, and I'm just now putting it back together. Alright, got everything hooked up. Got the oil cooler, going to the thermostat. I got the wrong size oil filter, so I'm done for tonight, but I got the aluminum crack pipe and thermostat housing in there. And yeah, I forgot, but I was using a 12-valve thermostat housing, so my radiator hose is now going to need to point up further. And since I have this janky setup, it might not work. But this is the perfect opportunity for me to get something that looks cleaner anyway, so I'm going to try to find a solution for that tomorrow. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. I patched my old hood. Didn't come out bad. Yeah, you can see it warped pretty badly. Which I don't really care that much about, but I don't know. Maybe I'll drill holes in it, put my hood pins in, and still run it like that. But yeah, that's where I'm leaving off for tonight. Hopefully I'll be driving it by next week. Alright, I got everything hooked up and primed. It's all good. I already started it once. It's running good. I had about a 10 psi pressure drop. I haven't gotten it hot yet because I don't have the coolant hoses hooked up. That might be a problem in the future, but I might just end up running a heavier weight oil to try and combat that. But I mean, either way, I expected it to a certain degree, so 10 psi isn't really that bad. I'll fire it up and show you guys. 70. But, I mean, still climbs if you rev it. Hell yeah.
He's got a passenger. Yes! Nice! Nice. And he didn't take out a cone that time, I don't think.
That was nice. Come on. Pedal, pedal, pedal.